Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Sterling as we get another week going here. We're on the turf, fast and good. The rain hasn't rained since like what, Tuesday? I feel like it rained most of the day, much of the day.
I've not followed out here, but in my neck of the woods, yeah, we got a little bit of rain.
Because you do live a long way from
Well, no,
here.
it's amazing. I mean, from here to
Oh,
here,
it can be
completely different.
It can be, yes, it can be. I remember years ago one day it was pouring in the city, and a friend of mine wanted to drive into Belmont, and it was like already like 1:30 or 2, and I'm like, whatever. I'll
Yeah, I'm
come
Cobble
out.
Hill in Brooklyn,
We got out to
and
we got out to
wildly
Belmont. It
different
hadn't
weather.
rained at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're good. We got lots to talk about. Let's go over to Naira Bets. I think we have a new promo code. I know Greg and I love. Oh no, okay, match 200. I thought there was like a Preakness promo code. Okay, well, if we have a new promo code, if anybody's watching it, we don't have a slate for it. So we'll live with match 200, match $200.
Got the Preakness with
bonus.
that. That's the next leg of the Triple Crown.
I've heard about that. I've heard about the Preakness. It's in Pimlico, right? It's 2 weeks
Yes.
after the Derby, and then the Belmont Stakes 3 weeks later.
Indeed.
Sovereignty is apparently not running. But a bunch of, I think an interesting horse is running is that the clever horse that ran at Oaklawn that won that beat Gaming is in there, but also not journalism, Rodriguez is supposed to run. Anyway, more on that later. We have a contest for $40 buy-in to earn a seat. It's a feeder contest on Friday. Of course, the Saturday contest, you can just play that and pay the $300. You play it through Naira Bets. Lots of fun. Get all the information at nairabets.com/contest. And last but not least, the 1-2-5, I believe, today.
Don't even plan your day. Just tune in at 1. That's
Just
how we
leave
roll.
it on that. Yeah, leave
we
it on
don't
the
give an
channel.
end time. Just deal with it and sit there till we're done.
Eventually, we'll be back on if you leave it on too. It's holding. We're showing a little Horseshoe Indy today.
So arrogant of us.
I actually was looking at the Horseshoe Indy races. I like a horse in the fourth race. You got to watch the show if you want to find out who I like in the fourth at Horseshoe Indy.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It'll be fun. They got, I think, 3 races on the turf today. They just came back to the turf yesterday. So it'll be good to have their coverage.
Yeah, I would accept half the morning line on the horse I like. I'm afraid that it'll be a lot lower than that. Race number uno. Now, let me ask you a question. Were you upset the Party with Smarty scratched? Because he's kind of one of your pets, Party with Smarty.
Is he?
I think you picked him last time.
I may have. Yeah, 0 for 18 at this
I
point.
picked
He
him.
was a contender in here.
Pandemic
So
hero. He was a contender. No, I
Yeah.
agree he was. We will show a video, and you like Lean Music Machine. Is that like a play on Stripes? Mean, lean fighting machine?
Oh, yeah, great line from Stripes.
Yes.
You got, like a 6-week training program
John
here, which is
Candy.
perfect for me. I do like the race this horse is coming out of last time
movies
out.
ever.
I thought this horse showed a lot of fight, actually, to the wire, and he made it somewhat close last. Granted, yeah, he was an odds-on favorite. He got beat. But he's faced some good ones, too. People are probably going to lean heavily on Ranger Battalion, who's faced some very good horses in Maiden Special. This one faced in Maiden Special a couple starts back forward. Sam, he's okay, too. It's My Life had run a 90 buyer in a win at Keeneland in a Maiden Special, a other than out of that maiden win, who he was third to. So he's got some good horses on the resume that he's dealt with. And I feel like, he has turf sprint speed, too, so he can be forward, but he doesn't have to be on the lead. I like the way he closed that race out.
Okay. Obviously he can win, though, to be honest, I would prefer to take Linda's horse out of the race. I would just rather take the Linda Rice trainer change out of that race. And Jose D'Angelo wins a lot of races. But if you look up his numbers in New York, they're not that great. Off the claim in dirt sprints and Naira, he's just 1 for 8. In reality, he's only 17% with 99 starters all together in dirt sprints off the claim with a $1 ROI. So while he wins a lot of races, I don't love his numbers off the claim. For a horse that's going to be co-favored in this race, I thought I'd go with the other favorite, Ranger Battalion. At the end of the day, sort of has odd PPs to read, right? Because you've got a distance synthetic race, you've got a turf sprint. I thought his dirt race, he lost incentive pay. He was close to the pace. That was a pace that collapsed. Multiverse, who beat him 2 races back, he's okay. He ran 5 buyer points faster.
With a 90 buyer, yeah.
Yeah, he ran 5 buyer points faster. So I just thought maybe he's the one that had more speed. He was the better. We're talking about the
He's
two
clearly
favorites.
the one to beat.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Natural hunk. I got him fourth. You got him third. He's named for me, in case anybody's wondering.
I thought so.
Yeah, it's a clear. Race number 2, big scratch. Linda, flat on. She's running Macaw. We have both taken the 4 Game Time Gladiator. What concerns me with him is 7 seconds and thirds and 17 starts, and he has no speed. I picked the 7. I scratched into this horse, but I guess he's the horse to beat. Or the horse is he? He's going to be favored though, right? He's not going to. I mean, I guess IRAD on Outsource is why David made the horse the morning line second choice and now favorite. Outsource is pretty slow, isn't he?
Very slow, but yeah, look, it's a drop. It's Dutch. But
Irad, yeah.
I don't like that. I mean,
I don't like him.
You can
I got
have
him
that horse
third with a scratch.
incredibly. So this horse has, even if Flat On was in this race for me, I still like this horse. He just has so many not so many, but he's got 3 of his last 4 starts on dirt are pretty much faster than anybody in this spot.
They are faster than anybody in this
Yeah,
spot.
I'm concerned about coming off the bench, but it looks like he's working fine, and he's 5-year-old veteran pro. The 1 for 17. Everyone's record in here is awful, except for the 3, who I thought was a little intriguing.
Well, he's the lone speed now. I mean, with the
Yeah, he's
scratches in this
dangerous,
race,
yeah.
they took all the speed out of the race, and he becomes the low speed. And Carlos Martin's been on a good run.
Yeah, McCaw's not incredibly slow. I think that horse maybe can
I
be
agree.
in the mix. But yeah, I think 2 sprints stretching out with a 3. I considered about putting him on top. I just feel like the 4 is so much faster.
I agree. The 4 is a better horse. I thought about putting McCaw on top with Linda scratching the other one. I don't really know the circumstances. It may very well be a vet scratch. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But Brian Broken Chain does get a lot more dangerous with the scratches as a potential speed.
Yeah.
And while, we've had rain, the track may have changed, it is worth noting that Saturday and Sunday, even after the rain on Sunday, it was very hard to make up ground on this dirt track. So it is something worth pointing out. Now, we haven't run 4 days. We had a significant amount of rain in the interim, so it could have changed, but we'll see. Race number 3. So I've taken closers all day in spite of that. Race number 3, you've got the speed on top, Dots Dollar.
Yeah, look, I like the fact that he's quick. He doesn't need to have the lead.
He
but
may get it here by
he's-
default,
yeah,
right?
He's
He and
quick
Grey
enough
Wing.
to get it. I love his start last time out. So Grey Wing, obviously, and Chuck Willis set this insane pace up front. They finished last and second last. He was not really that far behind him.
no, he ran
He
well.
made the first move into him, too, and he was right there at the end. I love that performance from Dots Dollar last start. I think he's going to be really tough to beat today.
I'm not going to argue with any of that. I think he's a major, major player in here. And all these things are going to come down to price. And I didn't know that Bramido would be that much shorter. I guess I should have. He is dropping down second off a claim, and he's got the big figure 2 back. I thought he ran well 2 back. The problem is this was for Brad Cox. And to deny how well their horses have been running in New York over the last 6 months or so would be ignore common sense. So I wonder if he can run as well for Fernando as he did for him. Now, he obviously had no shot in that field last time out, so I don't want to hold it against him. What kind of race does he have to run, and what kind of pace does he have to get? And I agree. I think the 4 is very dangerous in the front end. I think Spun and 1 is dangerous in this race off the claim for Ilke. What did you feel about Spun and Run?
Yeah, I think Spun and 1. I know I don't have him in my top 4. This is a tough race. I do like Dots Dollar quite a bit in this spot, but Spun and 1 has several races. Any of the last 3, I felt, were good enough to put this horse in the mix.
I agree. I don't think he ran that badly last time out. I mean, the rail may have been a slight edge in that race. I feel like Bramido has the best races of anybody, but the reality is that Dots Dollar at 4-1 versus him at 5-2. And obviously, odds are going to be lower because Seas of Honey Badger was going to take a lot of money in this race, I would assume.
You don't think Grey Wing's actually going to be in front here?
We'll see. We'll see how aggressive Romero is. The base projector has the 4 in front, but after last time, you would think Grey Wing would be in front, right? I guess it depends on how aggressive the rides are. Listen, I have nothing wrong with Dots Dollar. I didn't like Grey Wing in here. Anybody else? You have the 1A in there somewhere?
Yeah, I have
He's been
him
a good form.
third.
His last race in the slop. I don't care about his last race.
Yeah, that
in the
race
slop.
to me was a total throwout, and the races
can't
before
run the
that, I
slop.
think, was in very sharp form the last couple, particularly.
And his prior sloppy sealed track race was also terrible, so he clearly does not handle a sloppy sealed surface. Race number 4. We've gone back to my old favorite, Have You Heard, from my friend Jordan Wyckoff. I've lost enough money on this horse for a lifetime.
This race was the most difficult race on the card for me. It wasn't even close.
Really, this was a race where I had an automatic selection.
Really?
It took me a little while to make my second, third, and fourth picks, but yeah, I like our Narciso Dali.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to bet a horse that, he comes off a muddy sealed track. The time before that, going today's mile distance. He was wide against a good rail and a speed track. So I actually thought he ran really well 2-back. And if he can run back to his race 2-back, he switches to Joel Rosario. I think he's going to be very tough to beat in this race if he runs back to that race on a fair racetrack.
I think Lou actually is pretty tough. I'd love, and we talk about her a lot. I love the job Amelia Green is doing very early on in her
agree.
career. Horses are moving up for her.
Yep.
I think that one's dangerous, especially with Pratt getting on board. Huge
I
rider
agree.
switch, even though I love Romero.
I just hate the 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I like the name.
Yeah.
No, I've got him third. I think he's very
But
dangerous here.
I feel like with Have You Heard, there was a jump forward in that last start. And maybe it coincided. Look, it was a couple of months away from the last
4
start of his
months
three-year-old
ago now,
campaign.
yeah.
But he took a big move forward. One of the best races, actually, probably the best race
He
he
actually
has
ran
ever
pretty
run.
well last time, right? His last race was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I don't know why he's been out this long. I don't quite understand that. I'm not going to bother.
But it
and
looks
ask
like
Jordan.
I don't know. Again, I don't know how he's doing it in the morning, and I say this all the time. Bullet works can be awful. It doesn't mean you work great, but
Yeah.
they can be very. He's got a couple of bullets in there. Maybe he's working strong for the comeback, and it's not that long of a time off that I'm really worried about it.
I don't have any data to back this up, but I've often wondered if horses that are dropping that show bullet workouts, it's a way of saying, please claim me.
Some trying
You know
to
what
do
I
it,
mean?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know the answer to it, and I don't know if there's probably one of these random things.
But if you're a really smart and savvy trainer, wouldn't you have probably been there to watch the workout or have someone watch out the
well,
workout?
somebody
and
is
say, wow,
watching
they,
it.
yeah.
I mean, in essence, the assistant trainers can see the workouts.
Yeah.
The exercise riders can come back and give feedback of how the horse is going. But as you say,
There's
fast.
very little that gets by
right,
people now.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast workouts don't mean anything.
No.
That's the
No.
point you're making. I agree. I mean, and it's one thing I think, the whole workout thing has really been changed in a positive way because of workout reports.
Yeah.
And good workout reports. And you use them much more than I do when we talk about them and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think a good workout reports or accurate workout information. I used to get that stuff from a friend of mine years and years ago, who was tremendous as a private clocker, but that was a long time ago.
That's why it's tough if you don't get that information and you're a player, especially like at the Saratoga. I mean, you're at an extreme disadvantage
Yeah, I mean,
as a handicap. I mean, because a lot of it, yeah, especially with a field full of
especially the
first-time
two-year-olds,
starters.
especially the two-year-olds for sure. And listen, I mean, it's not always, like it's funny. And I thought either Maggie or Acacia, maybe Maggie, made a great point about sovereignty the other day in the show. He's been a bad workhorse, and he's run well in his races, but he's always been kind of a lousy workhorse.
I brought it up, yeah.
And you brought this up?
Yeah.
That he was always a bad workhorse? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Several times on the show. with
But
you.
we were talking about it, and the fact that he started working better for the Derby.
Yeah.
How much better he ran. It may just be a maturation project with him. And it's funny because it came up because I remember I talked to David Aragona about it, and he was saying there was so much talk about him before his debut where he ran fourth, and he said he saw his works, and he's like, this just does not work well. And it came up again before he made his debut as a 3-year-old, which he won.
Yeah.
Just not a good
You
workhorse.
actually even said on the show we were on together, Greg's bringing up a very good point about sovereignty in the works in the morning.
Okay, I tried to be nice to somebody and it ended up blowing up badly.
But
in my
they
face.
probably talked about it too, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I'm
It probably
sure
was you,
Maggie
and I'm
did
just
touch on it.
delirious. But Maggie, but
But
I
it
think
did show, yeah, that he matured as a horse and started to get a little more serious, maybe grow up a little bit.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was a really interesting thing. And that's what, the thing that Maggie has done so incredibly well that differentiates herself, and Acacia does it as well, from a lot of other people is notes, keeping notes. They both keep notes. They share notes when one of them doesn't see a horse or something,
Yeah.
a firster, because if a horse always looks good and runs like crap, it doesn't matter that the horse looks good today.
Right.
If you're not doing things in relative terms, it's not really helpful. Yeah, and years ago, when Tony Kobitz and I were friends, and Tony is known as Tinky on Twitter, got himself a little bit of notoriety. He's only misbehaved a little bit. But Tony's very sharp, and Tony had private clocking. And I mean, occasionally we'd be looking at horses in the paddock, and he'd say to me, I've seen this horse working, and this horse is like a new horse working. And those horses ran. They may not have won, but they could be 30-1 and run second or third.
Yeah.
He has a great eye for watching them. I've seen it. I've been there. All right, we done with the first four? I'll think of another way to insult Greg offhand during the break, and we'll be right back.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You Bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling. Race number 5. We're going to call this the Formless feature.
The headache
Feature of
stakes.
Formless. That's why I went a little bit off the deep end here. I was thinking of picking our little super.
I actually like the
Surfer
one in
Girl.
here. Unfortunately, the one came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Trainer had a little pattern with that. I almost pick our little Surfer Girl just because it's Horacio Paz the first, so there's a little bit of pedigree there, and I hated everybody else, but I hate putting horses like that on top. It's such a cop-out. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't like anybody, so I picked the first-time starter. It's not really handicapping. It is, but it's... I mean, I'm not saying it's... Listen, it just feels like a cop-out to me. That's why I
Okay.
don't like to put those horses on top.
So what'd you like with the 2?
Not a lot.
Because this is a hard one to find form for.
Well, I like the switch to Manny Franco. I thought this horse's second race was actually not that bad. Broke slowly, dropped way back, was out in the middle of the racetrack, ridden wide, and I thought galloped out a little bit. And I actually thought showed some life in there. They're taking the blinkers off, putting Manny on. Greg Sacco's barn has been doing really well. And she's going to be a bit of a price in this race because, like, we'll take a look at Observer, who you have second, and I have nowhere, actually. I moved her completely out. I don't like this race. I mean, the horse who won at 8-5 is not much horse. Seemed to move up on a muddy sealed track. Now, maybe she'll do better on a dry track, but her 2 dry track races are
They're terrible.
they're atrocious.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just didn't really like this horse, so I didn't really like anybody. So I think that Sunset Park is very logical here, maybe one of the more logical horses of the horses that have run. But I don't feel like any of them are that good, and I had a little idea with Silent Sandy in not a race I liked. You picked Sounds of Summer, who obviously looks better on a dry track.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm against Observer because form kind of moved up on wet tracks. May not matter because it was also
not.
coincided with dropping in a state bred maiden claiming too. But yeah, I wound up going to Sounds of Summer, who first time out ran, third beat 4 lengths with a 48 buyer, but was so far back, kind of lost distance with the entire field, which concerns me because if that's the running style, it's going to have a lot of work to do to make up ground here.
Yeah, but was closer last time, to be fair. I went back and forth. I do not like the race. Listen, this is not a good field, obviously, so this horse can win. I don't love the field this horse is coming out of, that first race. And that was a race that was kind of just falling apart at the end.
Yeah.
And I think the horse who finished 4th may have been a first-time star that came back that people like that didn't win in a weak field. I don't know. I'm not splitting hairs. I'm not going to knock this horse I don't want to bet anybody you want in this race. I don't know. I just thought it was crying out for somebody new. That's why I took the 2 and 8.
I mean, at least lightly raced and sort of you can pick apart and say,
Absolutely.
look, that was the debut. At least did hit the board, did some running
Yep.
late. And you could maybe put a line through the wet track second start. Now gets Lasix. So
I think the 3 and 6 are the 2, especially if like you're a little against the 4, the 5, which I am. The 3 and 6 are the logical horses in this race. I don't have a big issue with that.
we could be very, very wrong too, knocking the 5 the way we are, but we both feel,
yeah, we're
maybe
wrong all the
it's-
time.
yeah.
And so what? Yeah, you have to be willing to be wrong to make money at the racetrack. If you're not willing to be wrong, you're not really handicapping. You've got to have opinions. And you have to be comfortable with the idea that a lot of your opinions are going to turn out to be wrong. Listen, we may be right about the 5 and still lose money in this race.
Yeah.
So, that also happens quite often. Race number 6. I was talking about this race with a friend before and who would be favored and what the prices would be.
wow.
What?
No Rodney anywhere for you.
I kind of had enough of Rodney.
Okay.
I don't know. The other problem I have with Rodney is there's speed in this race, and he has problems getting out of the gate these days.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
fair.
that's my biggest concern with him, and I wonder if that's associated with just getting older and he's just not the horse he once was. You like him, so go ahead. He's got
Yeah.
back races that'll smother this field, but
He
don't trust
does. Look, I've liked this horse is very. I thought there was at one point. I think we were actually on in that. Was it that Hudson?
Hudson, I wasn't on with you because I watched it on the subway going home because I bet him.
Okay, maybe it was Belmont Stakes Racing Festival a couple of years ago. I feel like he
That's
ran.
possible. He ran the True
Anyway,
North
um,
last year.
That start last time out, yeah, again, starts slow and then sort of got squeezed, had to take back a little bit, decides Javier Castellano, I'm going to circle wide and rush up into contention here. I thought had every right to kind of fall back. Surveillance, pretty good horse, too.
I agree. I don't think he ran badly last
Yeah,
time. I
and-
just don't want him to bet a horse that gets left all the time.
No, that's fair enough. But, I mean, he is good enough, I think, even if he does, maybe to overcome it against this group. Second back off the bench, he should be that much tighter, have more finish, and he's obviously got the major back class.
I'm not going to argue with any of it. What do you do with this horse, 24 Mambo, who at one time was pretty good? His last race, though, a bit of an outlier for him. Now, the track was kind of speed. I'm not going to hold General Partner's performance against. It was General Partner had an incident in the gate, and then he got completely cut off coming out at the start. So, you know, he didn't run as well. This was a very good effort by him, first time for Ilke, but now he switches to Tom Morley. And the problem I have with him is unless you get a performance at least similar to this one, I'm not sure he's good enough.
So I'm not willing to accept that in a 36 start of his career, where he just ran the fastest race he's ever run.
That's who he is.
That's who this horse is now, and that moving to a new barn, he's going to do it again. I'm going to take
Great
the
point.
stance that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you and I put him third. I don't think either one of us is going to be shocked when he wins, but I agree with that sentiment. I think, and it's nothing about Tom. It's just,
No,
I
not
wouldn't
at
care if he
all.
was still with Ilke. If he was
Yeah.
still with Ilke, I'd still say, show me again.
Yeah.
As far as Octane, I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to ride the Amelia Greens. I'm so mad at myself about, I knew I blew it with that horse that won the stake the other day, and I still didn't bet. And I knew when Maggie was talking about it on Talking Horses that I missed it with that horse. Listen, I don't know who he is, but this is a horse that has a lot of races that would make him extraordinarily tough in this
It's a
race.
neat horse.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool horse. Now, he's a little hard to trust.
Yeah.
He hasn't run a good race since May of last year, and he's only run 2 races, and they were both bad,
Well, and
particularly
you
last
said May
time
of
at
last
3 to
year.
5.
That was only 3 starts ago.
Right,
One of
but-
them, he went
but-
to the bench for a long time. The other one, he bled and he was taken off in an ambulance.
Right, at 3 to 5. Listen, I'm just saying, I don't, right, he didn't have Lasix in these starts because they were stakes, and now he gets on Lasix. I just took him. He's pretty obvious in here. He should be forward.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think Nelson Avenue's form has kind of left him. I probably should have had Rodney over Nelson Avenue. I'm not sure why I didn't, to be honest. What about Novo Rags? Can he win?
I'm concerned about the layoff for him. And
Lot of
I
seconds,
still
too.
feel, that was actually a really good race last time out before he went to the bench.
I
I just
thought it
feel like
was.
his best, if others show up with their best, he's going to have a tough time.
Yeah, he's just not a winning type, but I always kind of had a thing for him. I always like Michael Shanley's horses for some reason.
But he's capable.
Maybe it's the Yellow Silks. A sucker for those Yellow Silks. Roos is out of this race, correct?
Yes.
So race number 7 is actually curious what you did in this race. Okay. So let's start with Big Everest, who we both have second. I guess the question with him is he going to get loose in the lead? Or is it possible that Son of a Birch, who's stretching out, could show more speed? Will Donegal Momentum from the rail show more speed? Big Everest is a funny horse because he's obviously a good horse, but he's also been incredibly opportunistic. And he's won a lot of races because he was the main speed on turf races. Is anyone going to run with him here? And do you trust him?
Yeah, I mean,
Now
I
a
was going to say
7-year-old.
before we get into him, let's bring up your history with him. But you're right. I mean,
No,
he's
my
had
history with him
things-
is I've picked against him about 9 times, and he's won about 7 of them. So, yes, my history of him is being wrong. There's no question about it. But I don't think what I'm saying is wrong.
Yeah. No,
You know,
that's
he's
fair.
gotten
That's fair.
pretty opportunistic in these races.
There's a very good chance. I think
good
Son of a
horse, though.
Birch makes it interesting, but there's a good chance, especially
he may
coming
be loose here.
Yeah, coming in fresh off the bench. I mean, he's going to fire out of there again, and that's his game. And he's
Joel's
very
not
good at it.
afraid to go too fast with the speed horse
Yeah.
to make sure he's in front, and that's one of the things he does incredibly well.
And that's a pretty darn good horse that he just missed against last time on a running bee.
he's 9 for 20 with only 2 seconds and thirds. I mean, 4 total seconds and thirds, 2 of each. Yeah, no, he's a really good horse, and I think he is better than I've given him credit for at times. But he is one of these horses that he better get the lead if he's going to win this race, and he better be able to control. And he
No
may, but
question.
I don't totally
No
trust
question.
he will.
I do feel like even if that happens, off the bench, here's a chance that Hush of a Storm can get him. Hush of a Storm is going to be very far back.
You want to show us Ashley T. Cole? Do you mind, Eddie? I know I had it third, but go ahead.
Okay, and this is, and you know, they're potentially a little bit further, might be a little bit better for this horse. But I think you look at his last 3 races on the turf, and they're all faster than anybody, even Big Everest at his best, aside from that one race he had at Monmouth back in 23. He's a little bit quicker than this horse. Now, he's going to have his work way cut out for him to try and make up all that ground. The rails,
I just worry.
I didn't check whether rails.
They're at 24 and 27. I don't know which is which, but they're 24 and 27.
I don't like that.
I don't know. I'm not convinced on this horse. The best thing I'd say is going for him is Brad Cox and the way that barn's going.
His turf races have been very fast. But look, again,
Listen, I
it's
picked
gonna
the
be
closer
way
too,
back.
and he may not be as good as him. So
Okay.
I'm going to the recency with Sherlock's Jewel. And I really should have shown his last race. This horse was completely shuffled to the back of the pack last time. He lost all position. He was 3 wide on both turns, and he still came with this run to beat some pretty good horses. And it's all coming together. A really nice New York bred for Phil Serpy, I think, is entered tomorrow or I think Saturday he's entered. We're in a little trouble for turf race tomorrow. We're supposed to get some rain. I thought that was a good field. He gets Flavien Prat off that race. I don't know where it came from, but he improved dramatically on dirt for Shug if you go back to the races last year at Tampa. And it's like he was a new horse last time out. And maybe he's just kind of a now horse, and today's the day to take a shot with him. But like your horse, he's a little pace dependent.
Yeah.
And I don't know how fast the pace is going to be, and some depends on Donegal Momentum. Sorry, we'll switch to him and show him winning the Gio Ponte.
Interesting horse. I think he's one of the more interesting runners on the card today. I still think, even though he's coming off that 5th in the Carter, that he's much faster and better on dirt.
I don't disagree. I think he's a better dirt horse too, and he got caught in the pace that day. I'm not sure which one he's better on, but I wonder about that a little too. By the way, David Argona just told me that in an interview with Dave Grenig of the Daily Racing Forum, Tom said that he was going to take Son of a Birch to the back of the pack. I wish you the best of luck with that strategy, Tom. But I guess Donegal Momentum, he must think he's going to be forward in here. But is he willing to be forward enough to go after Big Everest is the question.
Grade 1 placed on the grass, but those races, he would need to take a big jump forward, I think, on the grass because he's just not, they're not fast.
The 3-year-old turf horses
yeah.
last year were an incredibly mediocre bunch. Now, I will say, in all fairness, one of them has stepped forward this year, deterministic. I mean, he looked like like a
was
bull.
it course record or near course? I think it was course
May
record.
have been. You know, we haven't run that many mile and eighth races, so it probably was. And I mean, listen, one race doesn't a career make, but that was a very different deterministic than we saw. And frankly, the dirt race that he ran at Keeneland, where he ran second off the turf behind Money Supply, was a huge effort by him. And I think there's a real chance that deterministic has taken that step forward. I'd love for some of these 3-year-olds to take a step forward. I'd love for one of them to be Donegal Momentum for Tom and for Donegal, who I'm friends with Jerry Crawford, and they're a lot of fun. But we need to see these horses take a step forward, and the turf divisions need some of these horses to take a step forward, as evidenced by the Man of War on Saturday's card here. We'll see what happens. Interesting race. Race number 8, where I got to tell you, Greg, I don't know. I kind of copped out with the favorite here. I lost a friend of the devil who wired the field that day, who ran so big, chasing outside last time. I just thought ran well enough as a 2-year-old with reasonable improvement. He's supposed to beat these horses, but I'm going to tell you something. I have zero confidence in him, and I'm not particularly. I just didn't really have a case I could make for anybody else. Go ahead with Pandemic Hero. I may have made a mistake leaving out.
Yeah, so Pandemic Hero, look, the only time he was on the turf was his debut. That was a better field. It was a state-bred maiden special race. Out on bail, won the Skidmore. Couple of times after that was close seconds to Governor Sam in stakes races. Was very good. He also had to deal with the rail in that debut that day. He did not have Lasix
And with
that
the
day.
8 scratching, he becomes
on the lead.
potentially the controlling speed. He's pretty quick, this guy. And it's not like we've never seen him be quick on turf.
Yep. Well, he was
no,
on the lead
I-
in the debut in the grass.
I may
Yeah.
have made a mistake leaving him out. I'm not sure. I don't trust this guy. I don't trust his stamina at all. But you might be right. He might end up being a better turf horse than dirt horse, and maybe he's getting to the right surface.
Second dam, too, was a 3-time winner on the grass, so there's some pedigree.
The Munnings, I don't love Dixie Union's bears. What about Army Proud for Joe Sharp? I mean, I just always want to include Joe's horses. Another horse that ran fast enough as a 2-year-old that with routine improvement, he's going to be tough in here.
And this is potentially
They're
a
the
problem
favorites.
for the 3. It's
I don't think
Kendrick
he's
on a
as-
horse who's quick, who's putting blinkers on,
He's not as fast as the 3.
and coming in front. I don't think so either, but they're going to try and go with this horse.
I would think he's forward. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
fast as 3. What about the 10, who has a little bit of pedigree? Haute Couture, a tourist. There's some. Dam was a 4-time winner of the turf, ran a 95 buyer, but the turf this is the second foal, and the first one was awful. About hard par getting in. Has some okay
Yeah.
races for Ray, and Flavian's riding I thought was a little interesting. Anybody else interesting in here? Pedigrees. I didn't see any particularly interesting pedigrees. The 10 was the only one that had a little Joker on fire.
I wanted to make a case for the 7, and I couldn't do it.
Jovia's first winner is going to be on me. I don't believe Jovia.
No, has one winner.
Oh, he has a winner?
Dirt sprint, yeah.
All right,
1
where-
for 32.
Excellent. Okay.
0 for 3 in the money on the turf, though, sprinting.
Is a Kitten's Joy Dam, but did not do any running first time out. We're done? But we will. Are you on? No, are you
I'm on early. I'm on 1 to 4.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
So I'm on the first hour with you, and then I'll be on later. So I'm on from 3:30 to 5, so I'll see you a little later after that. Anyway, head over to Naira Bets. We think the promo code Match200 is right. If we're getting, both Eddie and I think that there's supposed to be a different promo code, so I'm going to check out and see if we need. Yeah, mediocre minds think alike, Eddie. Okay, don't give yourself that much credit. If you're thinking like me, you could be in trouble.
Andy 800.
Yes, Andy 800. Yes, I will personally match the other 600 out of my pocket because I'm a billionaire. What else? We've got the $40 feed-in contest. You have until post time tomorrow. Get all the information on the contest at nairabets.com/contest, $300 on Saturday. A lot of fun. A lot of friends who play. A lot of fun. And, that could be, by the way, the English guineas because Godolphin, I don't think it is Godolphin in blue, right? Because of the diamonds in the
No,
sleeves.
it is
But
not.
they did hold off Juddmonte, and that is Juddmonte on the outside.
By the way, there's a new pope.
Oh, is there?
White smoke.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been betting on it? There must be betting on it, right?
I don't think you can bet on a new.
Oh,
No.
you don't think there's any?
Really?
Dude, Eddie agrees. Eddie says there's betting
this
somewhere.
feels wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
While betting on
Feels incredibly wrong.
all this other stuff feels so right.
Could we start an offshoot, the Catholic betting service? That just sounds very bad.
I'm going to look into betting on the Pope. I'm going to Google betting on the new Pope.
I'm out of this conversation.
Why is it bad?
I'll just leave it there.
All right.
Betting on religion?
No, it's not religion. It's who's going to win, sort of win. It's like a contest. You bet on any contest, right?
Yeah, I guess.
What else? We've got the show, 1 to 5.
Sounds like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Sounds like we're probably starting trouble somewhere. Sorry, I didn't mean to do anything wrong there. I just, whatever. We don't know who the new Pope is?
Gonna be announced soon, I guess.
Okay, because there's a lot of. Did you see the movie Conclave?
No, but I want to.
It's good. You should watch
Yeah?
it. It's really good. Yeah, it's good. Ray Fiennes. When
He's
is Ray
tremendous.
Fiennes not good? He's the greatest. The one
English Patient is.
I
terrific
think
movie.
one of his greatest performances is in a movie called A Bigger Splash.
I've not seen it.
The scene when he's dancing to Emotional Rescue is one of the all-time great scenes. It's with Tilda Swinton and Matthias
incredible
Schoenhardt
as well.
and Dakota Johnson.
Okay. Oh, so it's relatively new.
Yeah, probably 6-7 years, somewhere in that range. Yeah. Oh, he's very different role than you normally
Really?
see him play.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he's a
check
lot
it
of
out.
fun and he's great in it. I saw him do Coriolanus in Brooklyn once. It may remain one of the greatest things I've ever seen
Really?
in theater. Oh, he's incredible.
Hands down, the best performance I've ever seen. I've seen not a ton of Broadway. I've seen a lot though. Liev Schreiber, Glengarry Glen Ross.
Really. He's a great
Out
actor.
of this world.
Really.
Oh,
He does a ton of voiceovers. You ever notice how many of those voiceovers he does for HBO?
Does he?
And everything? Yeah, he does. He's got a great voice, for that. Anyway, all right, that's it. Horses and movie references. We've got it all. Chris Griffin, he's got it all too. He's up next. The reprise, the scratch and changes. Have a great day.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.